Hi, welcome to Mission Driven Monday. My name is Chantel Adams, and I'm here with my friend Sandy Wise. Sandy is very wise. She has a cool last name, and I have gotten to know her over the past really 10 years. Her husband was instrumental in bringing my husband to Woodstock City Church, where we've been for the last decade. But Sandy is a mission-driven woman in her own right. Her husband, Donald, went to live in heaven 3 years ago. And since then, she's been on, what'd you say, 8 mission trips since then?
Trips, yeah.
Yes, lots of mission trips. And for the past 30 years, she has been a drama and music teacher, which is near and dear to my heart because I've always loved drama and music, even though, as I told Sandy before we started recording, I am quite tone deaf. So, Sandy, I am so glad that you are here today. You have 3 grown children, and you are a mentor to, I don't know, scores of women, probably more than I could even count. I've gotten a chance to meet some of the women that you mentor, and it's just a real pleasure to be with you today. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, sweet thing. You know I love this.
Oh, well, you're welcome. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to ask you, I know it's going to be hard to choose because you've got lots of things to choose from, but I want you to tell me about something that you're really proud of.
You know, I looked at the questions, of course, before. And one of the things, you can always say things like, we talked about our children. We talked about, being as a music teacher and a drama teacher, the accomplishments there. But I started thinking about the other word that you used, which was overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And what have I overcome in the last 3 years? Well, I'll tell you, my biggest fear was being alone. And I have overcome that fear. And you and I both know it's only because of who God is in my life.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a hard thing, especially when you've gotten married young and you've raised kids together and you've enjoyed your marriage and you loved the person that you lived with for how many years were you guys married?
We were actually married 38 years, but we dated for 4 years before that. So we were together for 42 years.
For a long time. And so now to create a new life on your own, that's a huge thing. Can you tell me, I guess, you didn't think that you maybe could do it, but you've done it. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself as a result of being alone these last 3 years?
That God gives us our husbands to have that dependency on, but yet to know that when that is taken out of your life, that God really does fulfill that void, whether it's in an airport, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you wake up and you're alone, that He truly does fill that void when you call out and ask Him to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I bet you've really seen how the other people in your life, friends, coworkers, students, have you really seen them kind of rally around you as well?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a precious friend that lives in Houston, and she doesn't sleep. She didn't go to sleep till really late. And I told her the reason why is God had her walk through the years of cancer. And now it's like, oh, if I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I know that Jan's up and I can text her. Or, there's just been times that it's like, hey, will you come over and just spend a few hours with me? Yeah. But it's also being vulnerable and being open when you are going through those times where you're hurting, and to really let the body of Christ fill those voids in sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good lesson for all of us. So now I guess as you have entered this new season, tell me a little bit about what you're learning right now.
That kind of goes along with facing your fears. I am learning that I'm a whole lot stronger than I realized that I was. In the middle of the night, I look up and there is a smoke alarm going off, and it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but you know what? I can figure it out. I don't know where the transmission fluid goes in the car, and I must put it in the gas tank. But I'm learning that, you know what, I can do this in this season. I can, but not only that, if God chose me to walk this season, isn't He going to be all I need through this season?
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably so encouraging to younger people as well who are walking through hard things. Like you just said, I was stronger than I thought that I could be. You know, when these new things came up, if you would have asked you 5, 10 years ago, hey,
I
what are you going to do about the transmission fluid or the smoke alarm or any number of things probably that have been obstacles in your way, you would have been like, I don't know, and I don't want to know.
exactly.
But as
Even the
they,
fact of being alone, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be, but this is my journey.
Mhm.
So God's meeting me.
Yeah, yeah, well, you're doing a good job. All right, this is our last question, and I always say that I really love this question because I do love to think about the future and I love to think about what's next, even while enjoying what's happening right now. I think some of us are in seasons that we don't want ever to end, and then some of us are in seasons that we can't wait for them to end. But regardless, you know, what's next is sort of on the horizon. And so when you look into your future, Sandy, tell me a little bit about your future self, the aspirational self, the person that you want to be.
You know, I love that you use the word seasons because I use that so much in my life right now, and realizing that I need to finish each season well, whether it's the season of when I was in college or the season of being, you know, single, or the season of being a mother with kids at home, or a season of being married and now that season's over. And now I want to finish this next season well.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean just the season of from now to when God calls me to heaven. That means I want to finish today well. I want to finish the season of being on a mission trip well. I want to finish every day, every moment, every conversation. I want that to be on the forefront of what I'm thinking about. I want to finish well,
Yeah.
whatever God's called me to do at that moment.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I think I love about seasons is that they're temporary. And even the seasons that I love, they're temporary. And so in the seasons that I love, I feel like I enjoy them more because I know that they're temporary. And in the seasons that I hate, I know they're temporary. And so I can get through it.
Right. And you know, the one of the biggest things in walking through this season is that there's so many choices,
Mm-hmm.
but you can choose in your life what you're going to do. And you know very well that my mantra since Donald went to heaven is I choose joy. And I do choose. And I can honestly say I choose joy because God is meeting my every need.
Choose joy. I love it. And joy is such a, I don't know, it's a buzzword these days, you know, where we talk about sparking joy as we're cleaning out our house. But also, I've noticed that that word is coming up more and more with my friends who have businesses and things that they're doing. Like, you know, I have a friend who's an interior designer and she wants to create spaces that really create joy for people. And I have a friend who's an event planner and she wants to plan events that create joy for people. And I think that that's something that we can do wherever we are.
Exactly. In any
Yeah.
season, in any circumstance.
Yes. And I see in your house you have lots of signs in the background. Do you have a sign somewhere in your house that says choose joy?
I probably have. I'm sitting here looking right now. Five, you know, when I was building this house, I would find signs left on the front door because so many people followed the journey of Donald battling cancer and then me building this townhome.
Mm-hmm.
And I would find choose joy signs literally sitting on my front porch. So
Aw,
as I'm sitting here looking around all over the place, choose joy.
choose
Choose.
joy. You'll
And
never
my newest one is right up here behind me, and it says finish well.
finish well. I can see it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sandy. I am just thrilled that you joined me today, and I love talking to you. And honestly, I feel like I'm sitting in your house with you, and that's what it feels like every time I see you, whether we bump into each other in the hallway or meet in the airport, a drop off or pick up from a mission trip, or I am actually sitting in your home. You are just so warm, and it was my delight and pleasure to introduce you to everyone that I know today.
Thanks. Well, you know how much I love you and your sweet family too.
Well, thank you.